Welcome to 444 Empath Tarot. Take a deep breath and relax.
Hi Libra, I wanted to go ahead and do a bonus reading for you. I tend to do bonus readings for any of the signs that do very well recently, usually the ones with the most views. So let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards to start out with, and then we're gonna go ahead and pull Celtic cross for you, any clarifiers, and just see what bonus reading spirit has for you. So let's go ahead and begin. To start off, you have responsibility. Maturity begins when you can take responsibility for your own actions. And then you have hatred. Hatred is like a cancer. It destroys you from the inside out. So someone, either you or someone around you, may need to take responsibility. They may need to mature. And it could be coming from a place of hatred. You know, some of you might have some haters around you. Some of you might be harboring some feelings of hatred for someone else. But we're going to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper here and see what's going on. So let's go ahead and shuffle these cards. We're going to pull Celtic style. Spirit, please protect this reading for Libra's highest and greatest good here. Only positive messages, and by positive I don't mean toxic positivity or just trying to kind of make light of anything. Just anything that's not, wow, these cards are like resisting. Let me do one more shuffle here. Anything that Libra needs to hear. So let's go ahead, and we're gonna go ahead and pull your card first, which speaks of you, because you are the most important part of this reading. So let's go ahead and see. The Empress starting out. That's you. That's your overall energy here. Empress energy, nurturing. You know, she can turn lemonade from lemons. She literally, anything you give her, she replicates. She births things. She is creation. She is nurturing. She is the mother of the tarot. This is number 3 in the tarot. So some of you may be born on the 3rd month or the 3rd day. But this is someone who, again, whatever you give her, she's going to create something and make something magical out of it. I mean, literally anything. She can birth a child. She can turn the most chaotic situation into something so calming. I love this energy because she sits at her throne, and it almost gives me the feeling of someone who, when there's no other option, there's no other resolution, you give it to the Empress and she literally makes something out of nothing. That's you here, Libra. And it's so appropriate because you channel Venus energy, so it's very flowy, beautiful. I mean, the way I picture the Empress and your energy is almost as if someone needs to prepare for a party or something, and you just make it beautiful. Again, this energy is giving me of whatever you give me, she's going to multiply it tenfold. So let's see what's in your near past, what you've left behind, what you're kind of channeling through, what you're transitioning through. The Hierophant. Okay. This can have to do with traditions, beliefs. Anytime I see the Hierophant, I think of commitments, right? Again, marriage, being committed to friendships, family, any sort of lifestyle, religion. This is something that you're transitioning through right now. This also gives me the energy of seeking advice. Some of you could have sought advice from someone in the past, probably a Taurus or someone who has Taurus in their chart, because the Hierophant is Taurus energy here. But again, this is something that's already happened, something that you're transitioning through. So again, it could be that you're transitioning through a past commitment, and that can be anywhere in your life. We can grab some clarifiers if we need to. Again, this can have to do with marriage, because that's the most obvious, you know, and it doesn't have to be marriage to a person. It can be marriage to a job, marriage to a commitment, marriage to an environment, whatever the case may be. This is something in the near past. Now, what you need to focus on today, yes, 10 of Wands in reverse, putting down burdens, Libra, putting down burdens, delegating, releasing any overwhelm, because the 10 of Wands, he has a lot of responsibility. He's on his journey, he's on his journey back home, and he's carrying so many wands to the point that even when he gets home, he still has a lot of responsibility to deal with. He has, it can be children, it can be jobs, he can be, you know, the CEO of the job. Think of the boss. Think of someone who they rely on for everything. It's like no matter what, they can never sleep. They can never just have a day of rest because they are responsible for everything. What you need to focus on, Libra, right now is putting down those burdens. If you can delegate a task, if you can kind of eliminate any nuanced thing that you really don't have to do yourself, any responsibilities that maybe you can give to someone else, and that can be, you know, on a larger scale, if you are a boss, or, you know, someone who has a lot of responsibilities, giving a task to someone else, or very on a smaller scale, where if it has to come with finances, and let's say you have all these bills and all these things you have to pay, maybe eliminating some of those, really kind of sifting through and prioritizing what needs, you know, what you really need to cover, or what you need to pay for, or maybe it's a, you know, a bill that you had no idea that you was paying for, like a subscription or something, that sort of energy. So putting down anything that does not serve you, and not really more so that it doesn't serve you, but that is causing more strain. It's making things more harder. It feels like an extra weight on your back. In your near future, you have the 7 of Swords. So this can have to do with, you know, I will just say it, some trickery, some deception, some lies here, especially with this hatred. It could be people around you. I'll just say it. It could be some people around you that that are being very deceptive towards you. And this can, you know, this can literally mean that in the near future you're going to have to strategize. You're going to have to come up with ways that you kind of, I'm seeing like a mouse going through a maze, like almost like, I don't know why I'm seeing that picture, but it's almost like being 10 steps ahead of any competition, or anyone trying to hold you back, that sort of feeling. Like, let's say I'm getting an image, and I get images like camera shots. I'm getting an image of like workplace. If someone is trying to be trying to throw you under the bus, trying to sabotage you, just being very mindful of that, and staying 10 steps ahead of the game, and also being very strategic when it comes to like getting out of certain situations. I don't know why I'm getting that, but this is really giving me a feeling of staying on your P's and Q's here. Also taking responsibility when you need to, taking accountability as well, but I don't really see that here. So far, I don't see where these two cards are really geared towards you. This seems more environmental, so I want to see what the external card will say. But let's see. So that's in the near future. 7 of Swords. What's your challenge? The Magician. Okay, manifesting and literally bringing things to life. You are an Empress energy, so anything that you put your mind to, you can multiply it. Again, you can turn water into wine. But with this being as a challenge, some of you may feel so depleted, especially if these outside influences is doing anything negative towards you, someone kind of shooting you the evil eye, especially with these burdens that you have to let down. Sometimes our intuition and our ability to manifest, or even think about manifesting anything, putting the energy into intention, can sometimes be very, very hard. We have to be in a space of openness. We have to be in a space where we know that we are open enough to receive it. So with this being your challenge, I think it means that for some of you, hold on, there's a little bug there. There's a challenge when it comes to tapping into that magician energy. This can also be the energy of Virgo energy, and Virgo is very meticulous, very logical, very calculated. So for some of you, I'm getting the feeling that it's almost like you're in a funk right now. It's like, I don't want to manifest anything. I don't want to put my intentions in anything. I don't want to do none of that. And that could come off as taking responsibility for your own actions, because it takes a lot of you, and sometimes we just don't want to, right? There's plenty of times when I can say I'm sorry, my phone cut out. But yeah, the Magician energy, sometimes we can be so depleted from burdens and things going on externally that we just don't have the energy for that, right? So let's see what's your strength. Oh, Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is someone, again, that can turn water into wine. She is a practical nurturer. And remember what I said about the Magician being Virgo energy? This is coming up again with the Queen of Pentacles. This can be any earth sign, but I equate it to Virgo energy too, where she can literally turn anything and make it profitable. She is the Queen of Pentacles. She's the queen of, you know, everything on this 3D world. So if you can just tap into that energy and be very practical and be very nurturing, maybe even nurturing with yourself here, that can literally be your strength, pulling from that Queen of Pentacles energy, knowing that, you know, I have all my resources, I have everything I need. I'm not going to be discouraged or even be distracted with anything going on. So let's see what's going on in your external environment. Yeah, I figured. The Sun in reverse. Something is being hidden from view. Anytime I see the Sun in reverse, it's almost like removing the light from a situation. This could also have to do with inner child wounds, a bit of sadness too. Some of you, again, I do get the feeling that for some of you are kind of in a funk right now. And that could have to do with, it's not nothing new. It could have to do with like confidence and just things like that. Some of you could be going down memory lane, but what's really standing out to me more prominently, despite the usual meaning, is that something, it's almost like the light is being either drained from you, Libra, or the light where it needs to be exposed is not being exposed on that. It feels more like the light, like your inner light is being drained. It's possibly being drained by someone either giving you the evil eye or just, you know, things going around you. But this is the external environment. So this could have to speak of someone draining your energy vampires. It's like sucking the light out of you, right? Let's see what's in your hopes and fears. The Two of Wands, not being able to make a decision. This has to do with reevaluation, okay? And it's coming up as your hopes and fears because you may be thinking about making a specific plan, like planning on something. If this has to do with work, do I stay, do I go? If it has to do with friendships, families, relationships, it's almost like you have to reevaluate that. And probably the potential outcome or whatever decision you come to may kind of be a little, it might bring a fear, or it might be the hope of coming to a decision as well, with it being as your hopes and fears. Now, what's the potential outcome here? The Page of Swords. Now, anytime I see the Page of Swords, this speaks of an energy that is, it's thoughtful, you know, when it comes to communication. As the potential outcome. Now, again, this could have to do with gossip here. So you may be figuring out that maybe some people have been gossiping about you, have been, you know, I'm getting the energy here that there is some like mean girl or mean boy energy. You feel outcasted, and maybe because you are the Empress, maybe because you are the person that is very reliable, you're the person that can, like, again, turn water into wine. That can, you know, people can be envious of that. And especially if the Sun is showing up as the external environment, again, I feel like people are probably draining your energy. I do see gossip here with the Page of Swords, but as the outcome, it can also mean that there needs to be some communication. If there is an instance where you're not sure or you do hear it, you may need to approach it, not in a hasty way, not in like a Knight of Swords way, but in a way that's responsible, with the way that you carry the conversation. Again, with the maturity, taking responsibility. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything, but if you if you're picking up on this energy and you know something is wrong, sometimes being the mature person is confronting the situation, especially if it has to do with a situation where someone or something, or you know, maybe a group of people or an environment is draining your energy. Now, what's your advice here? Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups speaks about being very nurturing, but more importantly, especially in this situation, Queen of Cups in reverse, it speaks about needing to have better boundaries. Okay, Queen of Cups upright, she's very compassionate, but she doesn't just give it to anybody. Like, she's able to kind of decipher. She's very intuitive. Queen of Cups in reverse, she's very people pleasing. She allows people to cross her boundaries. She doesn't have a line, you know, like a strong line in the sand. So this showing up as your advice, it definitely gives me the energy of needing to put down boundaries, Libra. You have to. It's also giving me the energy that it may come off as you being moody, and it's not that you're moody, it's that, you know, the environment, the people around you, they're draining your energy. You know, they're draining your energy, and, you know, it's like, well, how do I react? But I think, you know, with the Queen of Cups coming up as your advice, is that you need to put down boundaries. So again, with the Page of Swords in reverse, if you have to have that thoughtful conversation with someone or thoughtful communication with a group of people or something of that extent, it needs to be had, because it's going to continue to drain your energy. So let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and get some clarifiers. Let's see where that I'm going to clarify the external environment here and see exactly where this is coming from, because I do feel like there's some darkness or something's being kept in the dark, or your energy's being drained. Let's see. Emperor in reverse. Yeah, it is. This could have to do with a workplace or some sort of environment where there's authority and structure. It can have to do with school. It can even have to do at home. You know, if you're someone who has to deal with someone thinking that they're bigger than you and bolder than you, if it has to do with work, or even in a friend group where someone thinks they're bigger or bolder than you, that's where that draining energy is coming from. Let's go ahead and the challenge. I want to clarify this challenge here with the Seven of Swords here. Seven of Swords. Let's see where that's coming from. Page of Wands. Again, this is giving me like all like workplace stuff, workplace, you know. The Page of Wands in reverse, this is a lack of direction, but it's really ringing a bell to me, like someone's trying to confuse you. It's almost like someone's trying to sabotage you or make you kind of chase your own tail here with the Page of Wands in reverse, because, you know, it speaks of someone that lacks direction. It speaks of someone that doesn't know which way to go, really. They're confused. So there could be some confusion. Again, if it's not the workplace, as a situation, environment where there is some trickery going on, possibly some evil eye, or maybe if, you know, if this is you, that you hate being around these people, it's almost like you may need to just put some boundaries up. I'm going to grab one more advice, because you have Queen of Cups, which lets me know better boundaries. But let me get one more, Spirit. Let me get one more. The Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, you have to understand that, and this may mean too that in putting the boundaries, because sometimes when things are going on in our life that makes us feel uncomfortable, it can almost give us a feeling of stagnation and feeling stuck. It's almost as if you don't remove one thing, you can't make space for something else. So in putting boundaries, you kind of really set yourself up for fortune. You set yourself up for blessings. That kind of makes room for the good things to come in. But right now it feels like stuck, and you probably don't know where it's coming from. It's like, where is this coming from? I'm not doing anything wrong. I haven't changed anything. And it's like I feel blocked in an area. And by putting up boundaries and speaking up for yourself and taking responsibility for that and saying, hey, you know, I don't like the way I'm feeling. I don't know what's going on. I feel, you know, maybe some self-sabotage, that kind of unblocks and clears that, especially with the Sun in reverse. You definitely need some clearing energy. So I would definitely suggest maybe doing some clearing rituals, maybe some healing, some clearing rituals. And even if it means, because Again, with the Magician card coming up as your challenge, some of you might not be really in tune spiritually neither. I feel like you're just like drained. You might need to get back to that. So like crystals, if you're into crystals, or any sort of ritual, meditation, yoga, whatever need be to kind of center yourself. That card popped out. I wanted to pull a Work Your Light Tarot. And you have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. How appropriate. Deep replenishment. I think for some of you, you really, really need it here, Libra. So if any of these messages make sense, if it resonates, if it aligns, hit me a like so I know I'm not talking to myself. You can comment on how you're feeling. And until next time, Libra, take care.